All right, Tim. The final part. Now, for most of this, we've talked about you getting horses from other people. You know, they've improved and they've got you know, probably watched from afar, thinking, you know, bloody hell, like that could have been me. I mean, it's you've had it come back and bite you with La Milos. It was a horse trained by you, then went on to win the Hennessey for another yard. How do you deal with blows like that? Or don't you really see those types of things as a blow?
Look, it's frustrating. I was fortunate enough to buy the horse at a very sensible price, and I sold it to some great friends of mine. They later sold parts of their shares to three other partners. So 6 shares in the horse. 3 I knew very well. The other 3 I didn't really know. For one reason or t'other, which we've never really got to the bottom of it, if the truth be told. The 3 in Wales fell out with the 3 which were predominantly based in Antigua, and they decided to separate the partnership. From my perspective, it was unfortunate in that the 3 who were predominantly based in Antigua had or wanted to spend more money on buying out the 3 Welsh owners, and when they did buy them out, they no longer wanted to keep the horse with me because they thought I was too sort of engaged with the Welsh-based owners, really. So it's a blow. I'm not going to tell any lies. We bought the horse, I nurtured him, he won 5 races for me, he was just hitting the pinnacle of his career, which obviously Dan Skelton had the sort of fortunate end of. But on the other hand, I analysed it after the horse won the race. Was there anything I could have done differently prior to that horse leaving the yard? I don't think there was. The horse had been very successful for me. You know, he's got a great pedigree. I thought I'd done well buying him for what we did. And it's unfortunate set of circumstances that led that particular horse to be taken away. Now, yeah, we probably could have had another 1,000 horses go away and it wouldn't really make anything like as big an impact. But do you know what? We run a business. I've a family, I've got 3 kids, and you sometimes think it's a horse galloping around a green field over a few fences. You've just got to put things into perspective. You know, as long as we've got our health and we're happy. I've been on the other end of that. You know, I was fortunate enough to get Beshabar, Paul Nicholls, at the time at a division with Harry Finlay and Paul Barber. Beshabar turned up on my doorstep. He unseated at the Cheltenham November meeting. He was second at the festival. He won, at Doncaster. He was second at the festival, and then he won a Scottish National 4 runs later. So I'd been on the right end of that one. It's part of our industry, and you've got to be man enough to accept those scenarios. And yeah, look, I'd rather, you know, would I rather him be in my yard and win it? Of course I would. Am I going to lose sleep over it now? The time's come and gone. No, I'm not. My job's doing my best for my owners, and it was just an unfortunate set of circumstances.
Okay, now today was the first time I've been here, and I must admit, when I was driving up to this top yard, I was thinking, bloody hell, there's no doubt, you know, there's no need to ask him how he gets his horses so fit. So can you just describe a bit about you know, how many horses can you have up here? Tell us a bit about the facilities and stuff.
Yeah, so we basically developed, we've developed 2 yards. Effectively, we in the bottom of the valley, as we call it, the bottom yard, we developed 121 stables there, and we were ding dong. But what we found is every winter we just couldn't keep them healthy, and it was deemed because it was like a temperature inversion, and there wasn't enough air movement and the like. So, and the design of the stables probably wasn't appropriate. But again, I was new, I was young, we were having the winners, so didn't see it. And like everything in life, when you have very few in, it's fine. When you grow bigger, like kids going to school, you know, they go to play school, you have problems, you have coughs and snots, and that's what effectively happened. So I decided then to seek planning permission to build barns in a different spot, which was effectively at the top of the hill where there was far more sunlight, more air movement, less vegetation and the like, and that's what we did. And we moved the horses up and they flew. So we decided then to move the whole operation up to the top yard, and we've got 90 stables now. The office, and you know, I'd like to think is first class now. Really, we've got the gallops, we've got 3 schooling grounds, circular deep sand gallop, straight all weather gallop. We got 110 acres to go and gallop round. We got roads, trees, forests, everything that you could want really. And we got hot wash down bays. We got a system where they muck out into an aisle where the machine comes along and takes them up. So it's very efficient, it's very airy, and you know, it's proven now that we train winners for a number of years through the winter periods, and it's made my life a lot easier to have the consistency in form. I just wish we had the 120 odd horses that we once did to put in those boxes to show that to people. But like everything, when you have a few bugs and whatever, then we got you know, owners moved and left and didn't reacquire. So we, you know, we smaller than we once were. But I think now once we consistently prove ourselves, we can build back up again.
Okay, and also you've got holiday properties, and did I read somebody got fishing as well? Yeah.
Yeah. So when we moved the premises then, or the racing yard, to the top yard, I basically had 120 stables. So having my property background and my hunger, I suppose, and desire, I thought, right, how can I make this work for me and not make that a complete disaster, really? And the truth is, the horses had paid for the bottom yard. I now build in another yard. It's not too many trainers will build a 120 box sort of state-of-the-art yard and then say, oh, that doesn't work, we'll just build a new one. So I had to make it pay. So what I did is started converting it quietly into little business units. And yeah, we've got probably 35 odd tenants down there now, from office users to veterinary practice, animal physio and therapy rooms, cafe, storage, all sorts really, and that opened my mind. And once we had the first 1 or 2 tenants, I thought, oh gosh, this is working better than I could have ever expected, and it just developed. Anyway, I worked out the finance on building the new yard for the horses, and I wanted to sort of break even. So the desire in the bottom yard was to hit a certain rental level that would cover the finance on the top yard. So I thought, God, it's just not going to be enough. So I decided, now we'll try something else, and that's when I went in for planning permission for holiday lodges. I thought, I'll try it, you never know if it'll work. Anyway, got the planning, and lo and behold, COVID kicked in. So I built the lodges as quickly as I could, and I think I had my first letting in the August or September. I just blew me away really, how they were just full all the time. So I knew the location and locality would work. So that led me on to thinking, right, what else can I do? How can I add value to the site? So it evolved from that really. So now, yeah, we're in for planning permission for 15 acres of fishing lakes, because ideally you want to attract people to the site and have something for them to do to keep them on site. We are in for 36 more holiday lodges. We are building a equine hospital here. So we've diversified the business into all aspects, and really it's just pulling a bit from everything just to safeguard ourselves. But obviously that enables me to do my hobby, which is training horses. And with COVID and the hard times we went through, they're probably the best thing I ever did. And it's all quite low intensity stuff, the property. Once you've sort of built it and let it out, it sort of looks after itself. So enables me to crack on with the horses.
Kenny, you talked about your family. I understand one of your sons has got the riding bug, at least one of your sons, champion.
That's right, yeah. I had 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, and the 2 eldest, the boy and the girl, the lad, especially Ed, he's he loves the pony racing, always wanted a pony race, and has been with the horses from scratch, and decided you couldn't ride in Britain till you're 9 in the pony racing, so we ended up taking him to Ireland at 8. And he developed there, and he's just very, very talented. No other way of saying it, really. I appreciate he's my son, but he is or he isn't, and he is. And ended up 2 years later, he was Irish champion jockey, which took a bit of doing from Wales and down to the ferry every Saturday night. I think we did 16 weekends on the trot. It nearly killed me, but anyway, we did it. He was British champion on what they call 138 centimetres and 148 centimetres. We've had some great days. And the climax of that then was Tom Malone, the bloodstock agent. He said, look, I'd like to win the Dingle Derby. I've been trying for 10 years or whatever it is. Anyway, he bought a horse, and he said Ed can ride it. And they all, at the time, he was 11 years of age. He's a pup. And they also know, I don't know if he's man enough to do this job. Anyway, he won the race, and the likes of Ruby Walsh and Aidan Coleman, Noel Feely, Barry Geraghty, big name jockeys rode in a lot of these races. And for my son, obviously, to win it was a phenomenal feeling. And My daughter also, she's in different disciplines in the horses. She does what we call showing and working hunter ponies, but again, she's got to the top of her field, and she was fortunate to win a Horse of the Year show and was second last year, which is basically a Cheltenham festival of racing then, for example. So I'm fortunate 2 of them really follow my passion, seem to love it. So we'll see how it continues, but I would think Edward would want to go on and train and possibly ride as well.
Now, coming to the final part, compared to most trainers, you're still a young man. So how do you see the future, without getting too much into all the politics of horse racing, but how do you see the future from your perspective?
From my perspective, look, the whole industry now is very driven by the big days. So even, you know, a Saturday at Newbury's getting dimmed down now because it's all about Cheltenham in March, you know, and I find that a frustrating side of it. You can win some very, very big races, but all right, what race will you take on in Cheltenham? So for me, it's all too centred around one day when there's some lovely days races, you know, to be had. But fundamentally for me, I have changed what I do in the type of horse I buy. I tend to buy a younger untried horse with a nice pedigree, which you hope will develop into being a nice horse. What is definitely driving me now is Ed, my son, is going to be eligible to ride from next September, and my hunger to supply him with a number of horses to start him off as an amateur in point of points and then possibly under rules. The burning desire, I promise you, is burning loud, and the flame is firing. So I'm already on the process of trying to buy horses for him that he can get going on. I would love to buy horses to run in Grand Nationals and Gold Cups and Fox Hunters where possibly he could ride them, because that would give me no greater buzz. The immense feeling of having your child riding. I often, you know, Peter Bowen and Karen, and I have great friends, and to see Sean and James and Connor Brace, Ben Jones, all lads who are out of parents that I know, it's this marvellous feeling really, and I would love to see Ed riding in those big races for me really. That's something that burns, you know, live inside me, and that's where I see my future really, is trying to create something for him to take on.
Brilliant. Well, on that note, Tim Vaughan, thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure.